The concept of dual or second citizenship has long been a gray area in global geopolitics. While the United States permits dual citizenship, recent rhetoric and potential policy shifts suggest the country may take steps to discourage or complicate its practice. This blog post examines the political, legal, and economic undercurrents that could shape U.S. efforts to curtail second citizenships, reflecting both historical trends and contemporary developments. The United States does not explicitly prohibit its citizens from holding second citizenships. Many Americans acquire dual citizenship through birth, e.g., being born in another country to American parents, or being born in the U.S. to foreign parents, or naturalization. However, dual citizens are still subject to U.S. obligations, including taxes on worldwide income and military service requirements where applicable. Historically, dual citizenship has been viewed as a practical arrangement for the globally mobile, fostering trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. However, growing concerns about tax evasion, security threats, and questions of loyalty have led to increasing scrutiny of dual citizenship. First, national security concerns. Post-9/11 policies have increasingly tied immigration and citizenship issues to national security. Dual citizenship is sometimes viewed with suspicion, particularly when one of the citizenships is linked to a country perceived as a potential security threat. Critics argue that dual citizens might face conflicts of interest, particularly in situations involving military or intelligence obligations. 2. Tax compliance and economic considerations. The U.S. employs a unique citizenship-based taxation system requiring citizens to file tax returns on global income, regardless of where they live. Dual citizens often face complex tax compliance challenges, and some may exploit their secondary citizenships to avoid U.S. taxes. High-profile cases like the Panama Papers and the FATCA Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act enforcement spotlight efforts to curb tax evasion by dual citizens with offshore accounts. 3. Cultural and political loyalty. Some policymakers argue that holding multiple national allegiances dilutes loyalty to the U.S. This perspective often emerges during debates over immigration and naturalization, where critics highlight the symbolic value of pledging allegiance solely to the United States. 1. Increased taxation burdens. The U.S. already enforces strict tax reporting requirements under FATCA. Dual citizens living abroad are required to disclose foreign bank accounts and investments. Future measures could include heightened penalties for non-compliance or broader application of taxation laws targeting dual citizens, particularly those who use secondary citizenships to shield assets. Second, amendments to birthright citizenship. Some policymakers have proposed limiting or eliminating birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. This would primarily affect children born in the U.S. to non-citizen parents, many of whom could acquire dual citizenship. Though such proposals face significant legal hurdles, they reflect broader efforts to tighten the pathways to citizenship. 3. Restrictions on naturalization. The U.S. could impose stricter conditions on naturalization, requiring applicants to renounce their original citizenship explicitly. While this is already a formal requirement in some cases, enforcement could become stricter, disallowing exceptions or dual allegiances in practice. Increased exit barriers. Renouncing U.S. citizenship is a cumbersome and expensive process involving a hefty expatriation tax for high-net-worth individuals. The U.S. could further increase these barriers, making it financially or procedurally prohibitive to shed American citizenship while holding another. Other nations provide useful parallels for understanding how dual citizenship might be restricted. For instance, India prohibits dual citizenship outright, requiring individuals to choose one nationality. China automatically revokes citizenship for those acquiring another nationality. Singapore mandates that dual citizens decide on one nationality upon reaching adulthood. If the U.S. were to implement similar restrictions, it would likely follow a phased approach targeting specific groups or circumstances, e.g., dual citizens with ties to certain countries, before broader implementation. Challenges to killing second citizenship. 1. Legal and constitutional obstacles. The 14th Amendment guarantees birthright citizenship, and courts have consistently upheld its provisions. Any attempt to curtail second citizenships would face robust constitutional challenges, requiring either legislative finesse or a constitutional amendment. 2. Economic implications. The U.S. benefits significantly from its global diaspora, including dual citizens. These individuals often serve as cultural and economic bridges, facilitating trade, investment, and diplomacy. Restrictive policies could dissuade globally minded professionals from maintaining U.S. ties, ultimately harming American interests. 3. Diplomatic fallout. Restricting dual citizenship could strain relations with countries that permit or encourage it. Nations with large U.S. expatriate communities, such as Canada, the UK, and Israel, might push back against policies seen as discriminatory or extraterritorial. If the U.S. moves to restrict or eliminate second citizenships, individuals holding dual nationality should consider the following: tax compliance. Ensure adherence to all U.S. tax obligations to avoid penalties. Legal status. Stay informed about potential changes to naturalization or expatriation policies. Asset planning. Consider the implications of stricter U.S. financial reporting requirements for dual citizens. Professional advice. Consult legal and tax professionals to navigate complex dual citizenship scenarios. While the United States has historically tolerated dual citizenship, shifting political, economic, and security dynamics suggest that this permissive stance may not last indefinitely. By imposing stricter tax burdens, revisiting birthright citizenship, and limiting naturalization options, the U.S. could make dual citizenship increasingly impractical. However, such measures would face significant legal, economic, and diplomatic challenges. For now, dual citizens should remain vigilant, staying informed of evolving policies and prepared for potential changes. The evolving conversation on second citizenships underscores broader questions about national identity, loyalty, and globalization in an increasingly interconnected world.